Imagine a nation torn apart by hatred, where neighbors turned against each other, and the world watched in silence. This is the story of Rwanda, land that suffered one of the darkest moments in human history but rose from the ashes to become one of Africa's most remarkable success stories. Today, we uncover the tragedy, the lessons, and Rwanda's remarkable transformation into a regional powerhouse. For centuries, Rwanda was home to the Hutu and Tutsi communities, living side by side. But when European colonizers arrived, they did what they did best: divide and rule. The Belgians exaggerated differences, favoring the Tutsi minority and sowing resentment among the Hutu majority. This division festered for decades. By the early 1990s, political tensions had reached a boiling point. When President Juvenal Habyarimana's plane was shot down on April 6, 1994, the unthinkable happened. Within hours, radio stations filled the airwaves with calls for blood. The Interahamwe militias took to the streets, machetes in hand. Neighbors turned on neighbors. In just 100 days, nearly 800,000 people, mostly Tutsis, were brutally murdered in one of the worst genocides the world has ever seen. As the rivers ran red with blood, the world turned a blind eye. The United Nations, though present in Rwanda, did nothing. Foreign governments, despite knowing the horrors unfolding, failed to intervene. Rwanda was left to burn, but amidst the chaos, a resistance was growing. The Rwandan Patriotic Front (RPF), led by Paul Kagame, fought back. With determination and strategy, they reclaimed the country, putting an end to the genocide in July 1994. But stopping the killing was just the beginning. Rwanda needed to heal. The new government abolished ethnic identity cards, established local Gacaca courts to bring justice, and focused on reconciliation. Instead of revenge, Rwanda chose unity. Today, the nation has become a symbol of resilience. Fast forward, today Rwanda has one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. The streets of Kigali are spotless, technology is booming, and foreign investments pour in. Under Kagame's leadership, Rwanda has embraced innovation, tourism, and stability. But power comes with ambition. Rwanda's influence stretches beyond its borders. Its role in the Democratic Republic of Congo is a story of conflict and controversy. Allegations of supporting rebels, economic interests in Congo's minerals, and geopolitical maneuvers paint a complex picture of Rwanda's rise as a regional powerhouse. Rwanda's involvement in the DRC is not just about security, it's about influence and control. Kagame's government has been accused of backing armed groups like the M23 rebels to exert pressure on the Congolese government.
The very people who murdered people here in Rwanda, those who carried out the genocide, still exist, are still armed, are still practicing their ideology of genocide in our neighborhood in Eastern Congo, supported by government, supported by leaders in that place. On the watch of this international community that talks about values, that talks about interests, that deployed this UN force into Congo to actually eradicate, among others, that problem that originated from here, and be it the genociders or the ideology itself. People do it with impunity. Some people come from Congo, whether they smuggle or go through the right channels, they bring minerals, but most of it goes through here, does not stay here. Goes to Tel Aviv, goes everywhere. And if we actually deployed everything, every effort, and stopped this thing flowing, the accusation would be even worse. So what are we supposed to do, honestly?
The strategic goal appears to be securing Rwanda's economic interests in the mineral-rich regions of eastern Congo while also maintaining a buffer against hostile forces. Some analysts argue that Rwanda envisions a future where eastern Congo, plagued by instability, becomes an extension of Rwanda's economic and political sphere. Kagame's government has implemented similar strategies within Rwanda, imposing order, fostering development.
We have done a study to look at what would be the impact of AI in Rwanda. And what we're seeing is, and I think you talked about 0.8%, what we are seeing is even with basic use cases that we can deploy, we are seeing a potential to create at least 6% GDP contribution. And so we've been able to map out the different use cases. We talk about early warning, systems for farmers. Farmers make up the largest percentage of our population, and you see that trend similar across the continent. We're talking about public administration use cases, whether it's from taxes or the social security claims, and really being more efficient with how we're using some of these tools. This is definitely is going to be a continuation over the already existing foundations that we've put in place in our digital transformation efforts. It also means that we're going to have to think differently on how we continue to close the gap on some of the digital aspects. So it's making sure that everyone is connected. Today we have about 93% population coverage, but we still have a gap on usage. And the usage gap is driven largely by digital skills, by access to affordable devices and affordable internet connectivity. But at the same time, we're also going to be combining those efforts with energy access. Rwanda today has 81% household access to electricity. Mm-hmm. But when we start to look at what these AI use cases that we're going to put in place, we start to anticipate what the demand is going to look like. And that has called for different ways on how we leverage that. And so for Rwanda, we're building on these foundations that are already in place, but at the same time, asking ourselves the question, how do we not lag far too behind on this AI journey?
And integrating industries into a central economic framework. If successful, Rwanda could reshape the Great Lakes region, creating a zone of stability under its influence. However, this expansionist approach risks prolonged conflict with Congolese leadership and growing international scrutiny. Rwanda's journey teaches us that even from unimaginable darkness, a nation can rebuild. But the scars remain, and power has its price. As we watch Rwanda's continued rise, one question lingers. What does the future hold for this small yet mighty nation? Will its ambitions in the DRC lead to greater prosperity, or will it ignite deeper regional conflicts? If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more African history and geopolitics stories. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep history alive.